fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 4 in the league where they play. Oh yeah. For pay! Great to be back with you. The best audience in all of YouTube continues to be right here. Week number 4 already. As September is just about gone, we are flying through the first quarter of this season. It is going fast as always. I had a monster week last week. 14-3 overall, 13-3 with the picks, 1-0 with the over and unders. I did bet Denver and San Francisco under. 14-3 last week. That is a monster week. 34-16 overall. Let's keep it going. Week number 4, pick number 1. Let's go down to Baltimore. It's a really good game here with the Buffalo Bills a -3.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore up to 2-1, had a nice win in New England. Jackson has been on fire, running wild, making plays all over the field. Baltimore did a great job forcing turnovers. New England moved the ball, but Baltimore came up with those big turnovers. They picked off Jones like 3 times, forced a fumble. They did a great job recovering a fumble on the sidelines, keeping it in bounds. This was a nice bounce-back victory for Baltimore after the heartbreaking defeat they had against Miami the week before. So this was a nice bounce-back win for Baltimore. They are up to 2-1. And then we have the Buffalo Bills. They lost to Miami in what I would consider horrific fashion, especially considering, the standards Buffalo has this year, what they want to achieve, Super Bowl or bust for them. This was a horrific loss. They lost to the Miami Dolphins despite outgaining them 497 to 212 in total yardage. Let me say it again. Buffalo had 497 yards total offense. Miami had 212. Yet Miami won the football game. Buffalo first downs 31. Miami 15. Yet Miami won the football game. Why? Because Buffalo kept shooting themselves in the foot time and time again. Awful clock management at the end of the first half and at the end of the game. Josh Allen making bad throws. They can't get it in. First and goal from the 2. Allen on 4th down is short hopping it to the receiver. Penalties. They're letting Tua complete a 3rd and 22. Then they're getting personal fouls down in their own goal line. Buffalo just wilted in the Miami Heat, as they did last year in Jacksonville. Remember that? Remember that game? When Buffalo wilted in Jacksonville? Well, they did the exact same thing here against Miami. Guys going out all over the field, cramping up. This was a terrible loss for the Buffalo Bills. An absolutely terrible loss. Especially when you think of the grand scheme of things. They want to get that top seed. They want to have home field advantage. If they don't get home field advantage, you can point right to this game. This is a game they should have, could have easily won. With all that yardage, with them moving the ball up and down the field, their offense only put up 3 points in the second half. That's hard to believe. And then Josh Allen at the end of the game has his head into his chest at midfield. What a bad look for you, Josh Allen. I mean, you look like a kid being consoled by his father after you went 0 for 4 in Little League. I mean, Josh Allen, come on. This is the year the Bills are above this. You let that game slip away in the playoffs to Kansas City last year. This is supposed to be your year. And you're getting consoled by Tua at midfield. Tua got knocked out of the game. He's consoling you? Oh, that's a bad look for Buffalo and Josh Allen. This is the year Buffalo's supposed to be kicking ass and taking names. And they had it all their way in the first 2 weeks. Loosey-goosey, 41-7, easy games. You're going to find out about Buffalo in a tight game in the playoffs when they get squeezed. That's when you find out what these teams are really made of. And Buffalo has a lot of pressure on them. Everyone thinks they're going to get to the Super Bowl, or at least have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. The fan base is hungry. They've been hungry. They think this is the year. This was a bad loss by the Buffalo Bills. And listen, Miami's a good team. Take nothing away from Miami, and I picked Miami last week. Oh, by the way. But when you look at the total yardage and the first downs and how this game played out, Buffalo's got to be sick the way they lost this game. And what are they doing at the end of the game? It took them like a minute and a half just to go 30 yards. And then you complete a pass on the sidelines. The receiver's got to get out of bounds there, or at least try to get out of bounds. He's zigging and zagging in bounds. You can't do that. Oh, my goodness. And people are getting on the offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, because after the Bills lost, he slammed his tablet and was going crazy up in the booth. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. That was as frustrating a loss as you could possibly have. I don't blame Dorsey for throwing his tablet. And is everyone that sensitive now? Oh my goodness, Dorsey threw his tablet up in the press box. So what? So what? Is that not politically correct now? I don't blame him for being angry. This is a game the Bills could have easily won. They probably feel like they should have won it, and they lost. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, they could have been undefeated, one of the couple of teams that would have remained unbeaten. Now they're behind Miami in their own division. The Chiefs lost, so they could have been ahead of them. And now you got a monster game here in Baltimore this week. And Buffalo's schedule has not been easy. At the Rams, home for Tennessee, who we think is a good team. Then they're at Miami. Now they're at Baltimore. I mean, at the Rams, at Miami, at Baltimore, the first 4 weeks of the season. Not easy. And they could have been sitting pretty. Now they almost have to come back and win this game to save face. They dropped this game. The sky's falling in Buffalo already. So that was a terrible loss for the Bills. Didn't like their body language at all. Didn't like Josh Allen's body language at all, especially after the game. And I don't care how many yards he threw for, they scored 3 points in the second half. Terrible clock management. Awful. As far as this particular game, Buffalo minus 3.5 in Baltimore. Listen, in a two-team teaser, I'm going to move it to 9.5, and I'm going to take Baltimore. I think this is a tremendous game. It could go either way. I think it's a very tough game to predict a winner. So if I had to play it, and I won't go near any of this game with my own money, but if I had to play it, two-team teaser, move it to 9.5 and take Baltimore. It's a spectacular game. And like I said, bad loss for Buffalo. We'll see how they respond this week. I'll go Baltimore in a two-team teaser. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go to the Motor City in Detroit, with the Detroit Lions at minus 6 against the Seattle Seahawks. By the way, when's the last time the Lions were 6-point favorites? Seahawks down to 1-2, lost to Atlanta at home. Listen, we didn't expect a lot from Seattle. They gave you a nice win week 1. I wouldn't expect a lot from here on out. They have Lockett and Metcalf, but they don't have a heck of a lot else. Geno Smith's only going to take you so far. The defense is a shadow of what it's been. The crowd is great, but they can only do so much. So I don't expect a lot from Seattle, and they got beat by Atlanta at home. Detroit, they're down to 1-2, lost to Minnesota. This is a game Detroit could have won. They're up 10 points in the fourth quarter, let it slip away. Detroit has a lot of these games the last 2 seasons where they have it right there and they let it slip away. I do see some improvement. They do look pretty good on offense. But again, you got to start winning some of these games. So Detroit's at home, -6 against Seattle. I'm going to move it to pick 'em and take Detroit. I have no faith that Seattle can go on the road and beat just about anybody. I mean, they're coming all the way across the country. Detroit's offense is good. That should be enough to get them through here. No confidence in Seattle winning on the road. Detroit, pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go to Indianapolis, Indiana. Good division game here with the Indianapolis Colts are -3.5 against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee up to 1-2, held on and beat Las Vegas. Had a big lead in this game, almost let it slip away, but they do get the W and they needed it in the worst way. Colts, they needed a win in the worst way. They got it. They beat the Chiefs. They're up to 1-1. I mean, Ryan and Frank Reich definitely needed this game. They needed this game in the worst way. And they didn't do a heck of a lot for most of this game, but they had the big drive at the end, and they stole this game away from the Chiefs. That was a good win for the Colts, a very gutty win. These Colt-Tennessee games are usually very close. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and a 2-team teaser and take Tennessee. I think this is coming right down to the end. This game could go either way. Impossible to pick a winner here. Tennessee plus 9.5 and a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go to Philadelphia. With the Philadelphia Eagles fly, a -6.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville's up to 2-1. Just laid it on the Chargers. I mean, just slam dunked the Chargers. Lawrence is showing some major improvement. They got a couple of nice running backs now, Jacksonville. The defense is much improved. The coach is doing a good job. Jacksonville looks like a team that's going to battle you all year. They're not the Jacksonville we're used to the last few years that's going to go 2-14. They're much improved. They're going to give you a game now. And then you got the Eagles. Who's done a better job than the Eagles? 3-0, beat Washington, just shut them right down. Hurts has been playing out of his mind. The receivers are playing great. Defense turning the ball over, getting the running game going. The coach has done a good job. The Eagles have done everything right, and they've had it all their way so far in the first 3 weeks. They have done a really good job. This is a tough game. This is a tough game because all of a sudden, like I said, Jacksonville is competitive now. I'm going to take a chance and move it to 12.5 and take Jacksonville. They've showed me enough that I think they're going to be in this game. They'd show me a lot if they can actually win this game. But 12.5 is tough to pass up. Tough to pass up. And the Eagles have been blowing teams out the last couple of weeks. I think they're due for a closer game this week. Closer game. So I'm going to take a chance here, move it to 12.5 and a 2-team teaser and take Jacksonville. They've been good to me the last couple of weeks. I got to give them a little bit of respect that they're not going to get blown out. Jacksonville, pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go down to Carolina, where the Carolina Panthers are -1.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals down to 1-2, lost to the Rams. It's the same MO for the Cardinals. You look up, and they're down 10, 13 points early in the game, and they're always scrambling to try and catch up. They got to start better in these games. And they need Hopkins back in the worst way. Reggie Jackson used to say he was the straw that stirred the drink for the Yankees. Well, Hopkins is that guy for the Cardinals. They have to have him back. And now A.J. Green is hurt. Who knows if he's going to play. Have to get Hopkins back. I think he has 3 more weeks left on his suspension. They need him back in the worst way. Carolina, they're up to 1-2. They beat New Orleans. Mayfield, was okay. Stayed away from the interceptions. Kind of a ho-hum win for Carolina, but they needed it. They were 0-2. This is a bizarre game. Just a bizarre game. I'm going to move to 7.5 and take Arizona. I mean, I'm sure they'll fall behind early and try and catch up late and make it close. I mean, as far as who's going to win this game, who knows? But I'll take Arizona with 7.5. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are minus 3.5 against the New York Football Jets. The Jets are down to 1-2, lost to Cincinnati. No surprise. I know everyone was hopping on the Jet bandwagon after the unbelievable comeback against Cleveland. Let's hold on. Let's hold on. Wilson should be back this week for the Jets. He's got a lot to prove. Pittsburgh. They're down to 1-2, lost to Cleveland on Thursday Night Football. Trubisky he wasn't bad, but he wasn't good. That's who Trubisky is. He's just mediocre. Pickett will be in there before the season is over. Watt, by the way, not out for the year. He'll be back in like a month, 6 weeks. This is another messy, ugly, sloppy game. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take the Jets, and I can't believe I said that. But the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is awful. I don't think they could score a lot of points, so the Jets don't need to do a heck of a lot to hang in the game if I'm getting them with 9.5 points. I think this is low scoring, 16-13 somebody. I'll take the Jets plus 9.5 in a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go to the Big D in Dallas, Jerry's World, with the Dallas Cowboys are minus 3 against the Washington Commanders. Washington down to 1-2. Like I mentioned, lost to Philly and did absolutely nothing in this game. Nothing. They were smothered, shut down. They gave you nothing. Wentz, again, he's another one. Mediocre at best. Washington, I'm not seeing much at all from them. Not impressed with Washington at all. And then you got the Dallas Cowboys. They're up to 2-1, beat the Giants on Monday Night Football last night. Really nice job by the Cowboys. The defense causing havoc, sacks all over the field. How about the quarterback, Cooper Rush? He's poised in the pocket, made some nice throws. Cowboys protected him well. Got a little bit of that running game going with Elliott and Pollard. Big plays to Lamb all over the field. That was another nice win by the Dallas Cowboys. I have to give Cooper Rush credit again. He's, 3-0 as a starter, 2-0 as a starter with the Cowboys the last couple of weeks. He looks poised back there. They're protecting him well. Nice job by the Dallas Cowboys. They fell behind 13-6 in this game, and it came storming all the way back. So they're up to 2-1. By the way, one thing about Monday Night Football last night with Buck and Aikman. First of all, why at halftime is Buck interviewing Jimmy Kimmel about his, new show in Brooklyn? I don't want to see Jimmy Kimmel at halftime on a Monday Night Football game. That's what we're doing on Monday Night Football? Promoting Jimmy Kimmel? He had nothing interesting to say. It was a terrible interview. Buck was awful. What's with Buck with that blonde hair? He looks like Tweety Bird. I did see a putty cat. He looks ridiculous. You got Kimmel babbling away on there. I thought he was going to tell one story how him and Kornheiser were banned from Monday Night Football from the booth. He didn't even finish the story. Well, why were you banned, Kimmel? Never got into it. Instead, he was just talking about all this silly, mindless stuff. I don't need these shows being promoted a halftime in the Monday Night Football game. And that's why I like watching NFL Red Zone on Sunday. As Scott Hansen, who's the best in the business, says, we don't do commercials here. No greater words have ever been spoken. Because when you watch these Sunday and Monday night games, all they have are these silly promos. Let's promo The Voice and The Masked Singer and Jimmy Kimmel from Brooklyn. I don't care. And guess what? Neither does the football fan. We're here to watch football. I don't care that Jimmy Kimmel is going to be in Brooklyn. And I'm sick of Buck because he asked some stupid questions too. And as far as this game goes, Dallas at home -3 against Washington. And I know these division games. I know it's tough to go against the underdog, and it's easy to push the line up and take the underdog. The division games are usually close. I do not see anything from Washington. Nothing. And until they show me something, I am going to go against them. As I told the Colts last week, show me the money. And they did. Washington needs to show me the money before I start picking them on the road in Dallas. I think Dallas just has more talent. They're home. I think Dallas is going to win the football game. So I like Dallas, money line, pick number 7 to win the game. How about them Cowboys? Oh, one other thing, and I should have mentioned this before. I mean, Kurt Menefee, you know him. He does the Fox halftime. He does the highlights during the day. The Jacksonville Jaguars are beating the Chargers 38-10. They cut into a highlight and they show Jacksonville scoring. There's 5 minutes to go in the game, and what does Menefee say? The Chargers are in a little bit of trouble here. Chargers are in a little bit of trouble. They're down 38-10 with 5 minutes to go. They're not in trouble. The game's over, Menefee. Get a clue. Anyway, Dallas, pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go down to Georgia. Hotlanta. With the Cleveland Browns on -2 against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons up to 1-2. Beat Seattle on the road. Mariota did some nice things. You know, I like the big tight end. Running back got in the act. Give Atlanta credit. They don't have a lot of talent. They're not great on defense, but they've been battling the first 3 weeks. They've been battling. Cleveland, they're up to 2-1. They beat Pittsburgh on Thursday Night Football. Brissett continues to play well. Chubb running the ball well. Cleveland's got to be sick also. They're a hair away from being 3-0. Cleveland really should have beat the Jets. They could easily be 3-0 and be one of 3 teams left that would be 3-0. They're that close. Cleveland -2 in Atlanta. I'm going to move this line in a 2-team teaser to 8 and take Atlanta. I get 8 points to home field. Atlanta has been battling. They've been in every game the first 3 weeks. You know, Cleveland, they're in close games as well. So I am going to take Atlanta here at home to at least hang around in this game. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9, let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from here with the New York Football Giants are -3.5 against the Chicago Bears. Giants lost to Dallas last night 2-1. They were up 13-6, had all the momentum but couldn't hold it. Listen, the Giants and Daboll are setting a nice foundation. They just don't have as much talent as some of these better teams right now. You see it on offense. I mean, their offensive line got torn apart last night. Neal was getting beat all over the field. They don't have that big game-breaker receiver. Galladay's been a complete bust. Had no catches again last night. Dropped the pass that could have been a first down. I mean, he's been an absolute bust. He is killing them. I mean, Barkley seems to be getting better. The Giants are putting the foundation together, but they're not there yet to beat these good teams. Jones was under siege last night. And it's going to be hard to evaluate Jones. It's going to be really tricky what they do with him after this year. So the Giants, they let it kind of slip away last night. Shepard as well got hurt. It looks like he's going to be out for the year. So the Giants had that 13-6 lead, and they let Dallas waltz down the field and take all that momentum back. That game was there for the Giants at one point, and they just couldn't hold on, couldn't protect the quarterback, can't make the big plays down the field. But they are setting a nice foundation, I think, with Daboll. This is a messy, this is going to be a low-scoring 13-10 game. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take Chicago. Both of these teams are offensively challenged. They don't have a lot of big playmakers. They play some good defense. Chicago's up to 2-1. They beat the Texans. They get the big interception at the end. But you look at Fields' numbers, 8 for 17, 2 picks. I mean, you're not going to get much from either team offensively. They're both 2-1, so give them credit. But I think this game is going to be close, so I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take the Bears. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go to the frozen tundra in Green Bay, where the Green Bay Packers are -10.5 against the New England Patriots. Patriots down to 1-2, lost to Baltimore. They're going to lose Jones for a few weeks with the high ankle sprain. New England, way too many turnovers. Too many picks by Jones, fumbles. They moved the ball, but they kept shooting themselves in the foot. They couldn't stop Jackson on the other side. Brian Hoyer made quarterback this week. Yes, Brian Hoyer. Yes, that Brian Hoyer may be the Pats quarterback. Ouch! Green Bay, they're up to 2-1, beat Tampa Bay, held on. They scored on their first two drives, then were about to go in for a third touchdown, fumbled, and never got back in the end zone, held on to win at the end. It was a good road win overall for Green Bay. Thought Rodgers played well. Listen, this is for all you 3-team teaser lovers, 4-team teaser lovers, super teaser lovers. You take Green Bay to win. There's no way New England's winning this football game with Brian Hoyer. They're not going into Green Bay and winning. So take the Packers and one of your big teasers. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11. Let's go out to the desert, Nevada, with the Las Vegas Raiders. Just win, baby. Darth Vader. The Grim Reaper. The Raiders are -2 at home against the Denver Broncos. Denver up to 2-1, beat San Francisco 11-10 in a defensive game all the way. Russell Wilson, the offense, getting booed early, but again, they pull it out late. I think the offense will get better as we go along. The defense is going to be there for Denver. They're going to keep them in the game. Las Vegas, has there been a bigger disaster than the Vegas Raiders? 0-3, lost to Tennessee. Terrible start for McDaniels as coach. They lose a tough game to the Chargers week 1. They blow the game to Arizona in week 2. Then they fall way behind to Tennessee, come all the way back, miss a 2-pointer at the end. It adds up to 0-3. Ouch. Ouch. I'm going to move it to 8 and take Denver. Like I said, I think Denver's defense will keep them in most games. The Raiders have been shaky at best. You got to think this game is going to be close. If I can get Denver with 8, I got to feel comfortable that way. I'll take Denver. That's pick number 11 in the black hole. Pick number 12, this is the Sunday night football game. This game is in Tampa, but because of the hurricane, they may move this game to another site, so keep an eye on that. The Kansas City Chiefs are -3 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, as I mentioned, down to 2-1, lost to Green Bay. Missed the 2-pointer at the end. I mean, that's because they let the play clock run out on the 2-pointer. They were going to waltz into the end zone and tie that game. Brady, it looked like, was calling for the ball, but they never snapped it. They had no timeouts left, so then they have to move back. They missed the 2-pointer. Tampa Bay falls short. Their defense has been playing great, but they had too many guys out on offense. Too many guys out. I mean, Evans out, Jones out. Remember, they still don't have Gronkowski. They haven't talked him into coming back yet, although I don't think that's impossible. So Tampa Bay was without all their weapons. That's why I loved Green Bay last week. I told you to take Green Bay last week, and Green Bay won the football game. Tampa also has issues on the offensive line, but their defense will be there, and I think their offense will get better as they go along. Kansas City, like Buffalo, had a horrific loss. They're down to 2-1, lost to Indianapolis in a game they could have won a million times. Sloppy. This backup kicker for the Chiefs is absolutely destroying them. Misses a point after, misses a field goal, and then what is Andy Reid doing? We all love Andy Reid, but at 17-13, it's like, I don't know, 4th and 5, 4th and 6, something like that. He calls a fake field goal, and he has his snapper roll left and throw right. That's a hard play for a professional quarterback to complete. You want your holder? You want your holder out there running left and throwing right? It was an ugly duck he threw up. That was never going to work. Didn't fool anybody there. Didn't fool the Colts at all. They were looking for that. They know the Chiefs are having trouble kicking. If you're going to do that, Andy Reid, leave your offense on the field with Mahomes and just go for it. That was a bad call. The Chiefs' special teams were awful in this game. I mean awful. Right away, Colts go 3 and out, first possession. They punt the ball. Chiefs muff the punt. Goes to the 2-yard line. Colts just punch it in from. It was all day with the Chiefs special teams. Muff punt, miss extra point, miss field goal. The stupid fake field goal which didn't fool anyone. It just went on and on. Kelsey drops a pass in the end zone. Just awful, sloppy play by the Chiefs, just like Buffalo. Bad loss by the Chiefs. This is a very interesting game. Again, we don't know where this game is even going to be played. So conservatively, I'm going to move it to 9 and take Tampa Bay. I could get the home field. I get 9 points with a good defense. I think this is going to be a close game. So I think it's coming right down to the end. Like I said, keep an eye on this hurricane situation. They may move this game out of Tampa. But I'll go Tampa conservatively plus 9 in a 2-team teaser on Sunday Night Football. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13. This is the Monday Night Football game. Let's go out to the Bay Area. San Francisco, Santa Clara, Alcatraz. The San Francisco 49ers are minus 2.5 against the LA Rams. Rams beat Arizona on the road. They're up to 2-1. Got off to the big lead. That was enough. San Francisco, they're down to 1-2. Lost in Denver. Horrific. Garoppolo was bad. Stepped out of the end zone for a safety. Couple of picks. Trent Williams now out 4 to 6 weeks. Their offense was deplorable. And they scored early in this game. They were up 7-0 early. And the fans were booing Denver, but this was an atrocious offensive performance by San Francisco, much like they had in week 1 in Chicago. It's a big rivalry. These two teams get after each other. I'm going to move it to 8.5 and take the Rams. The Niner offense just looks terrible. Terrible. Kittle's back, but he's still a little rusty. Garoppolo didn't look good at all. You know the Ram defense is good. I have to think this game is going to be close. I'm getting the Super Bowl champs with 8.5 points. I got to like that. I'll take the Rams plus 8.5. That's pick number 13 on Monday Night Football. Pick number 14. Let's go down to Houston, Texas, where the LA Chargers are minus 6 against the Houston Texans. Texans 0-2-1, lost to Chicago. Mills a couple of picks, has a terrible pick at the end where it gets deflected, sets up the game-winning field goal for Chicago. The Texans are like Atlanta. They're not very good, but they're battling. They're in all these games. Chargers, oh boy. Down to 1-2, and they just got bombed by Jacksonville, whacked around. Herbert played, but you could see he wasn't 100%. I mean, Allen's still out. Bosa went out of the game. And now they got, I believe, the left tackle's out for the year. They got all sorts of problems now, the Chargers. Oh, they got beat up at home by Jacksonville. Just beat into the ground. I'm going to move the line to 12 and take the Texans. I remember this game last year. Didn't the Chargers go into Houston last year and need the game to get into the playoffs at the end of the year? And didn't the Texans smack them around? I got to like the Texans with 12 here at home. I just said, Herbert's banged up. Allen may not play. Bosa's hurt. You lose somebody, a big guy in your offensive line. The Chargers just got smacked around by Jacksonville. I got to think the Texans are going to be in this game. I'll take the Texans plus 12 in a 2-team teaser at home. Absolutely. That's pick number 14. And these last 2 games, I'm going to hand off to you. I'm not going to play these games, but I'll go through them with you. Let's start with the Thursday Night Football game. And you know I can't stand Thursday Night Football. Just can't stand it. Let's go to the jungle. Who dey? With the Cincinnati Bengals are minus 3.5 against the Miami Dolphins. This game should not be played on a Thursday. This would be a good Sunday night game, a good Monday night game. Now you're making the Dolphins, who had that just epic game in the heat against Buffalo, travel to Cincinnati on a short week. I mean, come on. I don't need Thursday Night Football. I watch football all day Sunday, all Sunday night, all Monday. At the end of the year, I watch it Saturday. You have all the college football. I don't need NFL on Thursday night on Amazon Prime. That's just me. Bengals up to 1-2. They beat the Jets. They handled their business, as they say. Needed this game in the worst way. And in Miami, listen, I slammed Buffalo, but let's give Miami some credit. They're 3-0, beat Buffalo, hung in the game. battled, didn't give an inch. Even when Buffalo was knocking on the door at the 2-yard line, they wouldn't let him in. And I know that punt, that they kicked into the back of the lineman's back. I know that's getting a lot of play, that safety. That actually helped Miami, because they ended up punting it way back into Buffalo territory. That play actually, I think, helped Miami. But Miami battled, and Tua came back in the game after being shaken up. Miami has been doing a tremendous job. Remember, just the week before, they're down 35-14 on the road to Baltimore, and they win that game. And they come right back and beat the big bad Bills. They have beaten Baltimore on the road and the Bills. That's pretty impressive. Let's give the Dolphins credit. Fins up. So I'm not going to pick this game. I'll hand this off to you on Thursday Night Football. It's a good game, though. I wish it was not played on Thursday, though. So that is pick number 15. And then again, pick number 16. And I don't know what to do with this game. This is the London game in England. This will be 9:30 Eastern Time. If you're on the West Coast, 6:30 in the morning, you're going to be watching Minnesota and the Saints? Yeah. Imagine you're out Saturday night in Los Angeles, and you're looking at the clock, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, oh, I got to get home. I got to set my alarm. I got to be up for Vikings Saints. I got to get my Starbucks. I got to get my cream-filled donut, because I don't want to miss Saints Vikings from London at 6:30 a.m. Oh, yeah! Minnesota is -3 against the Saints in London. Minnesota's up to 2-1, beat Detroit, rallied late. They were behind a lot of this game, but give them credit, they rallied late at home. They're up to 2-1. The Saints, they're down to 1-2, lost to Carolina. Oh my God, the Saints playing some ugly football. Winston picks all over the place again. Kamara fumbling. Thomas and Landry hurt. Hill is still hurt. Oh, by the way, didn't Peyton, the ex-coach of the Saints, tell me Hill was going to be the next Steve Young? Now he's not even the Swiss Army. Now he doesn't even get in at quarterback. He's hurt, but he's a tight end now. So much for him being Steve Young. And I thought about this, because I just fumbled it like Kamara. Say the Saints have a horrific year and they go like, I don't know, 2-15. Would Peyton come back to the Saints? Think about it. Again, I have no idea what you're going to get here. First of all, who's going to play for the Saints? Like I said, they're all banged up here. Thomas, Landry, Hill, hurt. Are they going to play? Winston firing interceptions. He's got an injury too. He's got some back injury, but he's playing through it. Saints got all sorts of injuries. I mean, you don't really trust Minnesota outside of that dome. It's an ugly, messy game. I'm going to hand it to you in London. I'm going to hand it to you. I don't know where to go in this game. I mean, would you maybe lean Minnesota? I guess, but do you feel all that confident in this game in London? I don't. So I'll hand that off to you guys. All right. You're all caught up. You're all set. Like I said, monster week last week, 14-3. That's a great week of picking. Let's keep it going. Thanks as always for the support. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Enjoy the games. Take care.